course, Deepak, those are the questions that the common man wants answers to. We have Brajesh Kalappa joining us on the phone line. Mr. Kalappa, what do you make of the state of affairs of the roads that are being used by commuters day in and out in Bengaluru? It was the Civic agency back in the month of May that identified that there are 10,000 potholes in the city. Why has nothing been done? Because lives are still being lost. This is a 44-year-old man. You see those visuals. We've accessed those CCTV visuals. Lost his life to a killer pothole.
You see, as far as deaths are concerned, they've just become a number in Bengaluru. And if a person dies, then he becomes number X or number Y or number Z. That person doesn't have a personality, right? So this is the kind of dehumanization which has occurred in Bengaluru, and I think this is something which is so atrocious that one can't even speak about it. It's so painful to speak about it that people are dying by the day, and owing to potholes, because somebody comes in at a certain speed, then he doesn't realize there's a pothole, whether it's night or day, we don't know, and then he loses his life. And ultimately, no compensation is paid, nor is somebody pulled up, nor is the civic authority willing to take the responsibility and say, look, sorry, but there will be no more. How many such potholes have we, deaths have we seen? And many of them are reported, many of them are unreported. Some instances which you have taken up, I'm glad you're taking them up, but I would only request you, please take it to the logical end. See that somebody loses his job, see that somebody loses his kind of promotion, but unless somebody really pays the price for a death, there is not going to be any change. We can be rest assured that these pothole deaths will continue unabated. And until there is somebody who loses his job, somebody who loses an increment, somebody who loses, promotion.
So who's going to take the accountability, and how much time before action on ground is taken to make sure that this doesn't continue to take place day in and out? Let me go across to Tanveer Ahmed of the JDS. Thank you, Mr. Kalappa, for that. Tanveer Ahmed, what's most shocking on top of all of this is, of course, this is very unfortunate, but the FIR copy in this case, the FIR that was registered under the sections for rash and negligent riding. Those were the sections under which the FIR was registered. When the family went back to the police, went back to the cops after the funeral to rectify the FIR, they claimed that it can't be done at the moment. That's the approach, that's the attitude.
Mr. Kalappa was saying that, somebody has to lose their job. If at all somebody has to lose their job or somebody has to be put to shame, it is not the authorities, it is the political circle, which is really in Karnataka. We all know that they are like 40% Sarkar. Any person, any contractor who's coming forward, when you demand an amount of 40%, who would be interested to develop Bangalore? As you rightly said, that an FIR was stated that it was due to negligence. Absolutely, it is due to negligence, not at the end of the driver. It is negligence at the end of everything, the system, the government, the chief minister, the BBMP authority, the municipal authority, everybody is solely responsible for this. As Kalappa was rightly saying, that these are the small amount of deaths which are reported, and news channels like you really bring it to the surface. But behind the screen, how many accidents are happening which are going unnoticed? Bangalore is the world's IT capital.
Yes.
But let your audience know it is in a very, very sad state because of rampant corruption and people who are using diversionary politics.
And that's why we're saying that Bengaluru is turning out to be synonymous with pothole-ridden roads, with crumbling infrastructure, and something really must be done at the earliest. Thank you for that, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed. Well, that's what we're tracking with regards to the FIR, and quickly shifting our focus to that bit of news. As you can see, viewers, Times Now has accessed this FIR in the 44-year-old's death case because of this pothole. The FIR copy in this case states that the FIR was registered under sections for rash and negligent riding, wherein you could see, as per the CCTV visuals, how Supreeth, in fact, last week on the 18th, those visuals are from the 18th, lost control of his two-wheeler and fell. It was because of the potholes that he lost control and fell, if we go by those visuals very clearly. Deepak continues to stay on with us. Deepak, the family, after this, went to went to the police station, went back to the cops after the funeral to rectify the FIR, but they claimed it can't be done at the moment. Nothing can be done.
Yes, the police say now that they're going to go ahead, investigate this matter and file a charge sheet. And after that, if they need, they will go ahead with the FIR. But the question is, if your sections here mention that the rider is at fault, is the investigation even going to look at, what the road had in terms of what the agencies could have done and should haven't done? Whether these are going to be even matters of investigation. Is the family going to get justice overall? That's the moot question that really comes up, because time and again we keep mentioning about this, that there are lives lost, there are people who are injured, there are people who are complaining, there is of course a lot of outrage that happens, but on the ground nothing really changes. And time and again it's only plain assurances that come in from our politicians, and then even the bureaucrats come out and say that this is not our mistake, this is another agency that is at fault, this is another engineer that's at fault. So at the end of the day, who's going to really take blame? Because the life that's lost isn't going to come back, and the issue that still remains doesn't change on the ground. So these are all big concerns that continue to plague the city, and the BBMP elections, more importantly, are around the corner, probably in about a month from now. But with this condition that Bengaluru roads being in, definitely raises a lot of questions as to the role that the BBMP really plays in upkeeping the city itself.
Let's go across to Brinda Adige joining us on the phone line. Brinda, what do you make of this? This is an issue that Times Now has been very, very closely tracking. We have been demanding answers, accountability and action on ground, because yet another life has been claimed because of these killer potholes. And what's most shocking is that the FIR copy in this very case states that the FIR is registered under sections for rash and negligent riding. So there is basic lack of acknowledgement that this particular person, his life was claimed because of this pothole.
You're so right. You're absolutely right. But what is more appalling, I'm so outraged that the police have the gall to file an FIR against this person who's the victim. They are refusing. Probably they are stupid. They have not been given the training or the education that the road is the cause. I'm wondering how they will do investigations. On what basis do they write it is rash? There is no other vehicle on the street that has hit them. There is no other pedestrian or anybody else. It is the pothole. What do you tell to these people? This is the height of impunity by the state. And here the state is represented by the police. Height of impunity, arrogance, carelessness, and they know that there will be no case filed on these cops or the BBMP or anybody from the state agencies, because all of them will blame the victim. That our taxes have been squandered 40% or more by these politicians and the bureaucrats, and all the contractors will never be brought out for the shoddy job that they have done on the streets and they continue to do with the roads. And they have the audacity to file a case on the victim. This just goes to show the connivance of all the departments against the citizens who are their paymasters.
Yes.
75 years down the line, if this is the state of citizens, one can imagine what is going to be the plight of all of us in the days to come.
The Karnataka High Court has time and again also directed the BBMP to whatever they have to do with the contractors, with the private firm that they have a contract with, to go ahead with that so that maintenance work can be kick-started at the earliest. Yet we see a shoddy job. We saw that pothole wherein, the 44-year-old man lost his balance because of the way the road was not maintained properly. We see this kind of a attitude coming from the cops as well. So that's the most shocking part here. But thank you for joining us with those details. Viewers, we keep up with those visuals. And we have Avian D'Souza of the Congress Party joining us on the phone line. What do you really make of this? Because we're talking about certain political parties that have now come out and asked those questions to the BJP as well. Why is it that there is basic admission of the fact that this death took place because of a pothole, because of how it was poorly maintained, a shoddy job done at that by just covering the pothole with sand and stones. But there is basic lack of admission that this was because of the pothole and not because of the rash and negligent riding of the driver.
See, that is not the point. The point is Just because of the potholes, he has, without knowingly, he went and fell in the fall and he has died. That is, according to me, the negligence is of the administration and the police. They should have taken a precaution. They have not taken it. That is why case has to be registered against the police administration and also the municipal administration there. That is what my request is. And nowadays, every road, Mangalore, there is no good road is not there. Now only the portal roads are there throughout the city corporation. So my request is the district administration, either they should administer or step down. There is no elected representative. They are not supervising anything. The innocent people are suffering from that. And a lot of two-wheelers are also suffered a lot. Many of them are permanently disabled. Many of them are sustained grievous injuries because of this. Because still the rain is coming like anything in Mangalore.
The fact remains, Mr. D'Souza, that the BBMP is responsible for civic amenities and infrastructure in Bengaluru, and something is really not right. If we are losing one life after the other because of these very potholes, due to these very potholes, there is certain work that needs to be done that is not being done. And on top of that, you have the police washing its hands of this. They don't want to, on a basic level, admit that this was not the fault of the rider, but of this pothole. Why was it left unattended? Why was it not maintained properly?
Yeah, correct. What I mean to say is now, see, there is a rules contemplated in the Administration Act saying that if there is rainy season, they should keep the road in a motorable condition. They should not dug the road as and when they want. They want to put the pipelines, they want to put the water pipeline, they want to put some other things. That is not at
but sir, the fact is also that government after government, we've seen the pothole issue, make headlines. We've seen lives being lost due to this pothole, not just under a particular government, but nothing really has been done. So where is the big problem? Why is the civic agency, the civic body not being able to act promptly?
Yes, see, Bangalore is concerned, there is no civic body at all. All the officials are ruling. And there is no state government employment. This thing was ruling also. There is no direction from the elected representatives. MLAs are not talking because they want to dig the road, thereby they will get 40% commission. That is what the things are going on like that in Karnataka. That is the bad precedent is laid down by the BJP government. How much I can say that there is no governance at all, either in the municipality or in the state. That is why all the people are suffering. People are paying the price.
But as the opposition is in the state, is the Congress also mounting any sort of pressure on the BBMP, for example, in this case?
Yeah, we have given number of memorandum. We went to the strike. We have protested where there is a big pothole. Now I announced in my city in Mangalore, whoever showing the big pothole will be given prize. And the prize is from the bus workers, rail taxi workers, and auto rickshaw workers. We are giving the prize to find out the biggest pothole. That is a competition we are conducting in Mangalore. But even then, these people are not opening their eyes. That is how things are going.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. D'Souza. Let me go back to Deepak, who continues to stay on with us. Deepak, we took in a few political reactions, but the fact remains, government after government, we've seen this kind of negligence come to fore.
Yes, time and again, this sort of issues surface, but like I've been, mentioning, accountability is something that Bengalurians are seeking, that, once they, make a complaint, whether these issues will be fixed, when people lose their lives, whether justice will be done to the families by booking the people who are responsible of maintaining this road. If the BBMP did fill up the potholes, it's, the engineer of that particular area that needs to be pulled up. If it was some other agency that, dug up this particular hole and didn't really close it up and didn't do the job that was required or inform the concerned officials, they should be pulled up. The question is, if nobody is pulled up, there is not going to be any sort of fear. So, these sort of issues are going to continue to happen. So how much our assurances the government gives the people or the courts, on the ground, the situation is going to remain the same. You have construction work that goes on, infrastructure work that goes on, the debris and the construction material is just strewn all over, the streets. And we see that on a regular basis. So potholes still exist. Now, on one hand, they blame the rains, but for weeks together now, there has been very little rain to really talk about.
So let's hear it from the people.
Potholes not being...
Before that, we have Nasir Hussain of the Congress joining us on the phone line. Mr. Hussain, we are picking up a few political reactions, not for the politics part of this, but yes, this is not what the taxpayers deserve. The taxpayers are paying their money, the hard-earned money, to make sure that the basic rights that they deserve are with them. But this is an example of just the opposite. Roads not being able to, be maintained on a regular basis is why people are losing out on their lives. What is being done? Mr. Hussain, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. I heard you. See, the whole issue is this entire government is submerged in the commission. You name any department, everywhere there are allegations of commission. The Contractors Association of Karnataka held a press conference and said that they are being demanded 40% commission in all the contracts in Karnataka. Now you tell me, if you give 40% commission, what kind of roads will you build? What kind of material will you use? I understand that there were rains in Karnataka because of monsoon. Some toppings must have come out. But the whole point is, how are such substandard roads being constructed? And in case if there are potholes, why is the BBMP or the PWD department not swinging into action and covering all these potholes? Every year, especially after the monsoons, you have dozens of people dying on the roads of Bengaluru, hundreds of people getting injured on the roads of Bengaluru. And not just the taxpayer, any citizen who has a right to livelihood, who has a right to life, cannot be given this kind of treatment, especially in a city like Bengaluru, which is an international destination in our country. A country which boasts of lots of infrastructure, a country which boasts of lots of people coming from different parts of the world, not just the country. And it's the Silicon Valley of our country. It's one of the most developed states of our country. Now, if you leave the streets and the roads and the city to this level, so who will come and what will be the guarantee of life that you're giving to the people of the city?
Because Mr. Hussain, it's not just Bengaluru. There are several cities in our country that see relentless rainfall year in and out, but that certainly can't be an excuse for not doing, its job right. The agencies really need to act in time, because one can't see this day in and out where innocent lives are being lost to these killer potholes. Thank you for speaking to us. It's time for us to head into a very short break.